What could a Gargants, a Giant's Warhammer Age of Sigmar battletome look like? What units could there be? What spells? What abilities? Let's have a look. Hello, this is 60 Goblins in one brush with a video about the Giants, the Gargants faction that has been announced, more or less, leaked. We are not still 100% sure that it will be there, but it's quite likely. And it might come pretty soon. What could it be like? What could be a battle tome of Gargants, of Giants be like? What kind of units could there be? What could the rules be? And so on. So let's have a look at it. First of all, monsters and behemoths would be battle line. By the way, I looked it up. Behemoth is the American pronunciation and behemoth is the British pronunciation. So both is valid. So it would be a whole battle tome full of behemoths. It's very important. It's like the ogres, only bigger. So the ogres have this might makes right thing now, where one ogre counts for 2 models and a whole giant monster like a stone horn counts for 10 models in regard to the objectives. Otherwise you can never hold an objective. At least something like this has to be done for the giants. It has not yet been extended, this rule, to bullgors and dragon ogres and all kinds of other monstrous infantry or monstrous cavalry. But for the giants it's necessary, otherwise you can't play it with the present rules. So one giant has to count as 10 models or more, because you're likely to run around with single giants, unless you can buff their bravery in a way that units of giants make sense. Otherwise you hurt one giant and then the other one or the others run away. That's not practical. So we need the might makes right rule. Then for the terrain, it would be really cool if there would be something like giants, I discussed it with my friend Franz, would be immune to terrain features or any kind of terrain rules like deadly terrain and so on. Then it would be cool if they could cause earthquakes, which could be a debuff for enemy units during their movement phase. Of course, they could hurl things, like the Fomoroid Crusher, he can hurl terrain. There are several units now that can damage enemy units that are within or near a terrain piece. They could, of course, destroy terrain. Yeah, what's a giant for if he can't even destroy terrain? I said that before. You could destroy the Ossiarch or the Seraphin or the Nurgle or the Khorne terrain feature and thus weaken your enemy. Then there need to be some kind of special against hordes. Otherwise one giant against a horde of 60 goblins, stands no chance. Or let it be 30 goblins, But if he would get a special rule like, for example, Reaped Like Corn, the Nighthound feature where you get a bonus if there are more than 10 or 20 or 15 enemy models. That could work. Then there could be a bonus of fighting against other monsters, against other large units. That would be really nice. That would be, for example, it could be a sub-faction thing. One sub-faction is good against hordes, one against other monsters. Then, of course, there could be a ability about pets. Giants surely have pets, like huge Cerberus 3-headed hellhounds kind of thing, or any other kind of monster that already exists, chimeras, dragons and whatnot. First of all, that they could control their own monsters and maybe even others. We have this whole new roaming monsters in the Wrath of the Ever-Chosen book. Maybe it would fit into this, that they would not be affected so much by roaming monsters. And of course that they have their own pets, which they can control and send after you. Then minions. Will they have minions? Like, for example, the ogres, they have these little grots with them that kind of carry their weapons and do all kinds of slave jobs for them. Will they have grots as well that do little kind of things for them, like these little fish that clean bigger fish in that manner? Then alliances. There have been jokes about it, but actually it's not that funny. It's quite realistic. Right now, we have giants in the Destruction Grand Alliance. And they used to be Chaos Giants, which of course would belong to the Chaos Grand Alliance. But why not Order? It's just as likely. Destruction, Order, Chaos, why not? Death a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. If you watch my video, the link is below in the description about the giants fluff. The giants, the original giants, are primordial creatures of immense powers, of natural powers, like earthquakes and volcano eruptions and frost and fire. So that would fit to any allegiance and to any realm, of course. All the 8 realms could have their own giant factions. In the realm of fire, fire giants. In the realm of metal, metal giants. In the realm of light, light giants. Who knows? There could be a giant or a giant ability for every realm they come from. Of course, the realm of beasts, would be likely, but they fit everywhere. And of course, originally, giants are elementals, so now they could control the elements. They would have some kind of ability or spell to control elements and their surroundings. Yeah, spells. Sorcery. What kind of wizards would they have? Would they have some kind of shamans or special wizards or spells? Or would they just get the spells from their respective realm or their respective alliance, or from their allies? I think you could give them really cool elemental spells or even elements to send around. Right now we have endless spells. It could tie in with this, what they did in the Seraphin battletome. The endless spells got strengthened for the Seraphin. Why not some of them for the giants as well? But I'm personally not a big fan of endless spells. I don't know any endless spells which I would take rather than 1 or 2 command points or a whole new unit. It's not happening. Maybe now for the Seraphin, so let's see. The cannons, shooting. Of course they could hurl rocks like the Cygors, but and the Ephemeroid Crushers and so on, but the sky cannons, the sky titan cannons that the ogres have. Titans are also giants. So they could run around like the ogres are holding their big scrap launcher cannons. The infantry are the lead belcher, of course, and the big war wagon, the big chariot, is called an iron blaster with the Rhinox in front to pull it. The iron blaster is supposed to be a sky titan cannon. So a giant could just as well carry it, like the lead belcher carries his cannon. That would be cool. And they could even have all kinds of steampunk mechanical artillery of another world, of a world that was a very ancient and primordial weapons. Would be really cool. I mean, there's a lot of scope. Just look at the dwarves. As I said before in the fluff video also, the first titans were craftsmen as well as anything else. So they could craft anything. If the dwarves can craft cannons and skyships, and even the Skaven, who came much later, they can craft any kind of cannons and lasers and whatnot, then so can giants. if they stop drinking. Yeah, so if there's a giant book, which I think there will be, the ale guzzler giants will probably stay, but they will just be one option of giants. Maybe they have a draft. If they drink some ale, then they get stronger. Before, the big problem with giants was in the old game, the fantasy game, was that they would stumble all the time. Now they got rid of the stumbling, but they still have the falling. Can stay funny. It needs to be a little bit more predictable. And of course, they cannot be bracketed that extremely. We cannot have units as a battle line that get bracketed actually. And if, then not so much. Like now, if you have giants or cygors or gorgons and so on, all these huge creatures, once they get damaged a little bit, they're basically useless. They lose so much movement and wounds and attacks and so on that you can't use them anymore. So this has to stop. This has to stop. I command it. Okay. So what do you think? Are you looking forward to the giants? What do you think? What could be the rules? What could be the units? There's so much scope. Actually, I really hope they will do it because it's endless. The possibilities are endless. So far, all these shipment leaks have turned out to be true. So why not this one? Could be photoshopped, but I don't think it is. So I don't think we will have much longer to wait for. First, of course, the Lumineth will come. But then in April, I think the giants could come. I'm very suspicious about new models. I don't think there will be many. Probably very few. There needs to be, of course, a kind of giant king. Maybe there's one set to build a king from and a magician from. And then the old set. And then maybe an extra frame for that stone carrying guy or for someone who throws a stone. And that's about it. I don't think there will be any extra monsters, but it could be, of course, that they have their own pets running around. Before they were mercenaries, now I think it could be the other way around, that they employ mercenaries to do some jobs for them, which are they too lazy to. There could be some nice synergies with orcs and grots and ogres, yeah. They all are very hungry lot. Trolls, really cool. There's so many possibilities, but I really would like them to be these primordial elemental forces, that they could change the terrain, that they could really change the battlefield in a significant way. And yeah, really make life difficult for the enemies. Right now, you have this war scroll of 5 giants. One of them is a king, and he is then very much improved. Yeah, he has 18 attacks instead of 3d6 attacks. That's a big difference. 3d6 attacks can be pretty weak. I mean, depending on how you roll. There are some guys, as you know, who tend to roll always high, and others who tend to roll always low. Like, the chances of a 4+ roll should be 50-50, but that's not true for everyone. So 3d6 can easily turn out to be 3. And then you're screwed. So the war scrolls right now, they need to change. The points are okay, but the war scroll needs to be a little bit more predictable. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And see you soon. And don't forget to leave your comments below.